Hello and welcome to PRAYERZONE Live. It's 2023 and we're starting the year as we mean to go on with our monthly get-together to hear a bit more about the voice and hands ministries of Reach Beyond. I have got some fascinating guests lined up for the year ahead, some new faces and some not so new faces to tell us what the Lord is doing in their part of the world. It's so good to see you all. I hope this new year will be a blessed one for you and your family. It looks like we've got people with us tonight from all over the place, as usual. We've got wet and windy Southport, that must be Ray and Barbara, Bedford, Chepstow, Bradford, Harrogate, Texas, USA, Long Preston, Godalming, Keighley, Colorado Springs, Belfast, Ilkley, and Dublin. So welcome to you all. I hope our time together this evening will be encouraging and informative. If you're connecting with us on Zoom, then we're together till about 7:45. But if you're on Facebook or YouTube, we should be done in about 15 minutes. The title for this January PRAYERZONE Live is Reaching the Mobile Unreached. And my co-presenter, Alan, will be introducing our two special guests very shortly. But it's always good to start with a prayer. So let's pray together. Lord, at the start of this new year, we want to recommit ourselves to you. We are so thankful for your sustaining power last year and for the ways we could see you at work in our lives. That gives us hope, Lord, and it helps us to trust you afresh for whatever this year will bring. Draw many people into your kingdom during 2023, we ask, and show us how we can play our part in working alongside you to make that happen. For we ask it all in Jesus' precious name. Amen. So I'm going to hand over to Alan Cobbald now, who serves with our Europe Mobile Unreached team here at Reach Beyond. Thanks, Alan.
Thank you, Colin, and good evening to everybody. So our special guests this evening are Ray and Kitty Everett, who are joining us from their home in Athens, where they work with refugees and other unreached mobile people. So welcome, Ray and Kitty. It's lovely to have you. Thank you for giving us up your evening for us.
Thank you for inviting us.
It's good to be here.
So to get started, maybe Ray, could you introduce you to us even, and tell us a bit about your family?
Yes, absolutely. So my name is Ray. This is my wife, Kitty. We are from the United States. And this is a picture of our family, the two tall guys in the back and the girl in the front, and then the two grandkids. So this is when one of our sons was turning 30. But anyway, my background is actually in technology project management, and Kitty's background is in design, which is sort of a broad statement, but she's done design work that's gone on to be on fabric or dishes or those kinds of things. We like to say that we are late bloomer missionaries. So this is not something we've done for a lifetime. We didn't head towards the mission field until 2018. And we actually didn't make it to Greece until late December of 2020, which you remember that was in the middle of COVID and the world was locked down. So it was an interesting start for us in Greece.
Thanks, Ray. And please tell us, how did you end up in Athens as your place of mission work?
Well, as Kitty has said, when God closes a door, he opens another. And that's sort of the summation of the story. When we first started with Reach Beyond, the plan was that we were going to go to Spain, and there was going to be a new office created there, and we were going to lead short-term teams into North Africa and the Middle East. But then we had the opportunity with a Reach Beyond team to go to the Greek island of Lesbos, where there was a tremendously large refugee camp. And we worked there and really felt God's call to work with the mobile unreached, with all of these people that were coming out of closed countries and at our doorstep, and we could have the opportunity to share the gospel with them. So we were going to first locate in Lesbos, but then the Moria camp that was there burned down, and there was opposition to workers coming in to work with refugees on Lesbos. So the decision was to see how things worked in Athens. And in reality, it works very well, because the refugees that are coming through those islands, almost all of them end up coming through Athens. And so there's a tremendous amount of work that can be done in Athens.
Brilliant, thank you. So, Kitty, I know that you work with lots of different organisations in Athens. Would you like to just give us a summary of the ones you work with?
Yeah, so what I do is I like to teach marginalized women, whether that is refugees or other unreached people groups. That has been something the Lord put on my heart, and has opened a lot of doors here in Athens. So I have taught with Helping Hands, with One Heart, with One Collective, with AMG, and I also work with missionaries around the Athens area, and I do ladies' nights and just times to get together and be able to share our passion for the work that we do. We also have had the opportunity to work with Petalutha, which is an organization that works with the Roma people. And One Heart, where I did teach, but their main focus is a medical clinic and medical work. And that's pictured there with the team that we had from the US and come. So
that's brilliant, thank you. So you mentioned Helping Hands in that list, and I know that's your main focus. So would you like to give us a bit more detail about your work with Helping Hands?
Yeah, so I started last year working with Helping Hands and teaching a skills class. And I teach that weekly to a group of women, teaching them different marketable skills, whether it's jewelry making or embroidery or sewing or other things. And the goal is to help them get started in their own business. And then what happened is that the center where I teach is a building that was donated to Helping Hands. And they asked Ray and I if we would come and manage that center in exchange for me having studio space downtown, which is something that I had been looking and praying about. And so it began a full partnership with Helping Hands. They're a great organization, very holistic. They have a ladies' day and a men's day and a family day, and they do outreach and discipleship and teach German and English classes, and they love on the refugees well. So we feel very privileged to be there and to be a part of that.
That's brilliant, thank you. And I understand they do a special thing at Christmas.
Yes, they do. So their biggest outreach of the year is their Christmas party that they do for the refugees. And they have several hundred people come each night for 2 nights. And they do the nativity play, which we're in the background there. They asked us to play Mary and Jesus, or Joseph, I mean, which we thought was pretty funny. And they have somebody that shares a message. The gospel is clearly presented. They do gifts for all the kids, and it's just a really amazing evening. So we were privileged to not only be in the drama, but to take photographs and help with the little kids. And we become pretty much a part of the staff there.
Wonderful, thank you. So Ray, we're here specifically to pray for you guys. So would you like to talk us through some prayer points that when we break up, we can pray for you guys about?
Yep, absolutely. And I'll just mention the picture on the left are a couple of ladies that we met when we were working out on Lesbos at the Moria camp. So yes, the Petalutha project that we mentioned, there's a community development project that Martin and I and a man by the name of them have done a proposal to do work there. And Petaluma would really like us to be able to do that work in this community and build a relationship in there with the Roma people. But we need a person to act as the interface between the Roma and those of us that don't speak Roma. And so that's something you could pray about. We actually at Petaluma had found somebody that would work really well, but he ended up moving back home. And so we still really need somebody before we can take on that community development project. So that's one thing. So Kitty is looking, you heard her talk about well, I'll let you talk about that. Why don't you do that?
So in working with the different women that I work with, we develop and create a lot of different products. And I'm really looking for somebody to come and help with marketing and sales to be able to sell those products on a more regular basis. Right now, we sell them to teams and we have a couple of bazaars a year, but I have a much bigger vision than that, but desperately need help to pull that off.
And one thing that we would definitely cover your prayers on is just sort of ministry life balance. Those two things sort of mingle together often here because we're so involved with people and have people over and, do things like this in the evenings. And so it's important that we develop good self-care and don't get into routines where we overextend ourselves because what happens is you don't survive long-term if that's what you do. So we need to develop that. Also, pray that these poor brains can learn Farsi. So when we first came to Greece, we were working on Greek, and now we have focused on the Farsi-speaking people group, which is out of Iran and Afghanistan. Yeah, some Afghans speak Farsi, some speak Dari, but anyway. So we are taking on learning Farsi so that we can have better conversations with these people and not have to use a translator. And then pray for teams that come through. There's a team from the US right now, a group of college kids that's here. They're actually working One Heart. But, Kitty was talking about she worked at One Heart just recently, and they did a project with a group of ladies, and the ladies were sharing just some of their stories about, what it was like, where they came from, why they came. Some were fairly recently here in Greece. And so I think these college students got a whole new perspective on what it is like to be a refugee. So that's good, but it can be hard. So I know that Alan is planning on bringing a team, and also that there are 2 teams coming from the US in February. So just that the teams would be able to get here. I don't know if any of you have traveled much lately, but airline flights are often canceled, delayed. There can be a lot of things that interfere with teams getting here. So just pray for the teams, pray for their ministry when they get here, pray for their attitudes, and just that God would use them and work in their lives.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm planning to come out in April to work with a team at Helping Hands. And I do know that one of the people on the call tonight is part of the team that we're hoping to raise. So that's really exciting. So I look forward to seeing you in April. But for now, I'm going to hand back to Colin and we're going to do some praying. So thank you, Colin.
Thanks, Alan. If you've come up with a particular question that's come into your mind as you've been listening to Ray and Kitty tonight, anything related to their ministry or life in Greece, something you've not quite grasped hold of, you'll get the chance to put that question to them in our question and answer session after we've prayed together on Zoom. Just type your question into the chat box so we can see it. As Alan mentioned, he'll be out in Greece with a UK church team later in the year. If your church might be interested in getting a team together to serve the sorts of people we've been hearing about, do get in touch. There are some great opportunities to make a difference out there. So, okay, if you're with us on Facebook or YouTube, this is where we part company, but please make a note to join us on Thursday, the 9th of February for our next Prayer Zone Live event. To get hold of the Zoom link, just send an email to prayerzonelive@reachbeyond.org.uk. And you can also use that email address to request our regular updates, magazine and prayer information. And we can also put you in touch with Ray and Kitty through that email address if you'd like to keep up with what they're doing, some regular news from them. Or you can always visit the Connect page of our website to find out more. Okay then, Zoom people, stay where you are, but to everyone else, thank you so much for being with us, and goodbye.